Hello, everyone. Now, I'm going to apologize, but that whole Behemoth Vlogmaster, the top 10 episodes or whatever, the top 10 BBM episodes idea, it didn't click well with me, so I decided to scrap it. Because I recorded it, but it wasn't until I was almost done uploading it to YouTube when I decided this is not a good idea for an episode. Like, it's just lame and not that cool, not that creative, and I decided to not do it. And besides, you guys probably only care about that episode just to know what my number one was. My favorite Behemoth Vlogmaster episode so far is episode 3, Smash Issues. That's my favorite one. And it's weird though, because that was one of the first ones, and we haven't made an episode yet that has surpassed that. That's weird. Well, anyways, but everybody has their own favorite Behemoth Vlogmaster episodes. Not very many people are fortunate enough to know what Behemoth Vlogmaster is, but I digress. So, I'm sorry for giving your hopes up, but that's just what had to happen. I don't remember what the other 9 episodes were because I deleted the list that had them, so... But anyways, without blabbering too much longer, let's get started with today's episode. So we're going to talk about good old this in this episode. Good old DK. Now, everybody's wondering, who the hell are Mario's parents? Like, if he has a brother named Luigi, that just makes you wonder, where's the rest of the freaking family? Like, you can't just have Mario and Luigi and not have any parents here. Well, guys, sorry. So we're gonna figure out what this whole Mario's parents thing, this myth, we're gonna solve it by the end of this episode. But let's go back to the very beginning. Well, maybe not the very beginning. You see, do you know how old Nintendo is? How long has Nintendo been around? And if you already know this, don't say it. But to you, like, kids out there that think they're not that old, like, they've only been around for a few decades or something, no. Guess how old they are. They were founded in freaking 1889. 1889! That was an eternity ago. That's freaking older than the freaking trip to the moon silent film. That's older than that crap. What were they doing for so long? Well, they experimented with a bunch of different things. Nintendo made a love machine or whatever it's called, where it tested out. What is it called? The Love Radar? I don't know what it's called, but Nintendo made toys at one point in time, so they've done a lot of things, but since the very beginning, Nintendo was known for making cards, trading cards, you know. And they did that for probably almost a century until 1981 when they made Donkey Kong. So, how do you go from freaking making those plastic rectangles to electronic entertainment? Like, how the hell does that work? You just don't do that, right? It's gotta take some practice. And, well, Nintendo, I think Donkey Kong was their first game they ever made, but I can't say for sure. So, they, obviously, there's a lot of trial and error, and I'm not saying the original Donkey Kong is a bad game or anything, but it's definitely nothing to compare to today's Nintendo games. But anyway, so... okay, so... They've been at this for a while, even at the video games, but before video games, they were still a thing. They just made trading cards. So, and people are always wondering, how does Nintendo know how to make excellent launch titles for their consoles, but no other company can? And like I just said, they've been around the longest, longer than Sony and Microsoft, or at least, actually, yeah. The company Nintendo itself has probably been around longer than the company of Sony or company of Microsoft. But not only that, but they've been doing video games for longer than either of those two. But even back in the day, like in 1990 when they made their Super Famicom, which is basically the Japanese... I need to talk slower. About 1990, the freaking Super Famicom comes out, and the launch title for it was Super Mario World, and that was an excellent game. And if they could do it in the 90s, back when Nintendo was still kind of new at this whole video game thing, how come even today, Sony and Microsoft still can't make decent launch titles, let alone awesome ones? How does that work? I don't get how Nintendo does this. Nintendo knows how to make their games stupid easy and still have them be a lot of fun. What is their formula here? Obviously, they're not going to give it away, but we're not here talking about that. So, we're talking about Mario Myths. So, it all began in 1981 or sometime in the early 80s or maybe late 70s, I don't know. But, okay, so this was, you gotta keep in mind, this was before Mario was established. Like, this was before Mario was as mainstream as he is now, and this was before all the freaking myths and crap. So, Miyamoto's main idea was to freaking... Miyamoto was obsessed with Popeye back then, and he might still be today, I don't know, but anyways. So, what he wanted to do, since he didn't own the license to Popeye, which is weird because he did make a Popeye game about a year after, but we're getting off track. Basically, he wanted to make something similar to Popeye. He wanted to have a character who was the hero, the damsel in distress, and the freaking antagonist. So, yeah, so what he came up with was a character named Jumpman, the damsel being Pauline, and the freaking antagonist being Donkey Kong. Okay, now, Jumpman often people often mix Jumpman and Mario together. And people often mix Pauline and Peach together. Guys, Bowser's the one that kidnaps Peach, okay, not Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong couldn't give less of a crap about her. He just cares about his freaking bananas. So, but anyways. So, at first, Mario's name was Jumpman, right? But here's the thing, though. Pauline and Peach are separate characters, and you can even see Pauline in Super Mario Odyssey, which is the mainline Mario game. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so, if Pauline and Peach are two separate characters, how aren't Jumpman and Mario two separate characters as well? To that I say, yes. In fact, Jumpman is probably Mario's father. Yeah, it took us this long to figure it out, but think about it. Like, Jumpman had, like, red overalls with a blue shirt. Mario has the blue overalls with a red shirt. So, okay, that obviously means they're different, right? So, where's Jumpman now? Where is he now? If he's Mario's father. And also, if Jumpman is Mario's father, then Pauline must be his mother. And Pauline doesn't look that much older than him. Than, Mario. Well, guys, Jumpman is in a better place now. Um, so at the end of, I don't remember which game it was. I think it was, I think Gale. Okay, yeah, at the end of Donkey Kong, the original one, or was it Donkey Kong Jr.? Well, basically, one of those two games, Jumpman falls off the tower and dies. And you might think, hell, nothing dies in the Mario universe. You can freaking jump on Goombas and Koopas, and they will still appear in other games. Freaking Mario himself doesn't die, Bowser doesn't die, and like, because, if Mario doesn't die, then why can't the antagonist ever actually die? So, they always respawn, they always, but, guys, I think this might have been an actual death, because when Jumpman fell from that height, he hit the ground so hard, he had a halo over his head. And we ain't talking about freaking this. We're talking about those rings that are over an angel's head. And nobody ever gets a freaking halo in the Mario universe when they die. So, Mario's father, at least, is dead. So that kind of explains where that came from. But wait a minute, though. Okay, so hold on. And this is going to be a little hard to explain, so let's take this one step at a time. If Jumpman is the Mario that we think of in the original Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong from 1981, how come Donkey Kong... Okay, so what? Mario would have been a baby back then, right? But Donkey Kong was already full grown. And freaking him and Mario are usually viewed as the same age. Unless Donkey Kong is that much older than him. Freaking Donkey Kong's got to be an elder by now. And which makes Cranky Kong seem even older than that. So how does that work? So it has to be Mario that was in the 1981 game. Like, because, Donkey Kong was already a grown freaking ape. Well, I mean, I don't know. This is confusing. Like, I don't know if Jumpman and Mario are the same person. Because I'm trying to figure out how I should word this. Because, look, video games often, when designing a character for a video game, you often change the name of that character from your first intentional thought all the way to the final product. You often change it. However, though, when the arcade cabinets were released in 1981, it distinctively said Jumpman on there. And if you're going to release a game and establish that, oh, this guy's name is Jumpman, why change his name in, like, a future game from a few years later? I don't quite get that. And also, sorry, I know I'm going kind of slow, but this is just kind of really hard to explain. So, if Jumpman is Mario and this whole episode was completely pointless and there was no point to making it at all, then that must mean that Mario was once the antagonist, because in Donkey Kong Jr. Donkey Kong's son has to freaking save him from Mario or Jumpman or whoever it is. But I digress. Look, we could probably be here all day, but I think this episode has been long enough as it is. So tell me in the comments if you think Jumpman is Mario's father, or if you just think that they're the same character that just got a reskin over time. Just let me know what you think, because this is confusing. Because if Jumpman is Mario's father, how come Donkey Kong is that much older than Mario? It doesn't make much sense. So you view them as kind of the same age, or roughly around the same age. So, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's confusing as hell. But yeah. So I will see you guys in the next episode, and I don't know when it'll be, because it almost seems like I'm pumping out these episodes too often, and I just want an excuse to have another new episode. But to be honest, guys, that's not the case. I'm just doing older ideas and making them into new videos. So that's what's going on here. But anyways, if you are really confused about this whole theory, then and whoever it was that died at the end of, I think it was Donkey Kong or something. Not Donkey Kong Jr., but why does he have a ring on top of his head? Like, why? Like, that's not just one of those fake deaths. Like, oh, I'm dead, but I'm not really dead. No, that's like deader than a dead dog. Dead. Okay, that doesn't make much sense. But anyways, we've been here for long enough. I will see you guys in the next episode, which will probably be shorter than this. So, goodbye.